Hey, I just felt inspired to talk a little bit about how fresh everything feels these days. Like, even things in the body that feel old and heavy, or things in the world that seem old or heavy or ugly or decrepit. Uh, they're only appearing here and now. It's like whatever it is, it's just like a light show. And there's a kind of whatever appears just appears. And sometimes, especially at night, my perceptions can do strange things, can almost look pixelated or I mean, you know how weird dreams are. Dreams are weird. Like we're used to dreams because it seems like a normal thing. We all do it. But it's actually quite a weird thing to have to live. It's like a drug trip, you're living a whole other experience, a whole other life. It's just presenting itself like a hallucination. And then you wake up in the morning and go on like nothing happened. Like it's totally normal. Um, so yeah, it can almost be discontinuous, like dreams are. But sometimes I don't know if I'm asleep or not when they're happening. Um, but of course, there's a through line, an apparent through line in consensus reality, which itself is kind of strange. It's like when I was in the mushrooms a while back, one thing I kept asking was, why are there rules? Like why is there apparent continuity? Why are there apparent physical laws? Why is there awakening? Why does that follow certain stages and steps? Even it's unique, but also mappable to some extent. It's not complete. It's not a complete free for all. It's not complete chaos. And I mean, there was a sense that everything could just blink out of existence any moment, but it doesn't. Why not? Who decided? I don't know. Who knows? It's kind of an ontological nightmare. It's just like we don't know anything about anything. Gotta live anyway. And it's like there's no there's nothing else you can do too. It's it just keeps happening. Apparently, it keeps showing up. Um, and a friend of mine wrote like, talk about trust, and I was like, well, we don't really have to trust in a way. Like it's kind of the opposite of trust. Just whatever this is what it is. Like, because what we trusted was our conditioning. We trusted that yeah, you're supposed to act like XYZ to get what you need or want, and then it's going to result in PQR, which will give you, happiness and security and stability, which it didn't. So, um, I mean, to some extent, it was like trustworthy to get us to this point, to get us through childhood and, you know, young adulthood and so on. But now it's not. Now it's clear that it's not trustworthy. This conditioning is not. It's run its course for some of us, and it's like, well, you can't trust that anymore. You can't blindly keep doing what reactivity and stories in your head tell you to do. Like it's not having good results, not working. So it's like you don't have to trust anything about the non-dual path or whatever you want to call it to start distrusting your conditioning, right? Um, and it becomes clear that everything has always happened spontaneously, but we pretended we knew what was going to happen and what it was about, and we got mad every time reality proved us wrong. That's what humans tend to do. It's like, well, this shouldn't have happened, that shouldn't have happened. Oh, there's a hummingbird. Even though it happened, or this should have happened, even though it clearly did not. So it's like, in a way, there's nothing spiritual necessarily about it. It's just logic in a sense, because reality is what it is, no matter what we think about it, no matter what we want it to be. Um, and it's funny how long we just keep clinging to some ideas that are clearly not happening. And they say all progress depends upon the unreasonable man or woman. Um, so maybe there's a balance, maybe there's a reason for uh, our attempts at universe management. But anyway, I'm kind of done with that. It's like, yeah, I can still do things, of course. But here and now is what it is. It's arising as it is. And getting mad about that is pretty silly in a way. I mean, okay, somebody slaps you in the face. Yeah, you can get mad about that, right? But if you're like, she shouldn't have done that, well, she did. It happened. Like, there's no, like, the first step of anything is to accept that, yeah, that's what happened. Not accept that it was okay, not accept that it was good, but accept that it did, in fact, happen. And that can take some layers off of the suffering when at least you're not in denial. But yeah, it can feel quite unmooring for that illusion of a safety net to not be there at all anymore. And of course, non-dual teachers say, well, you don't need a safety net when the fall is infinite, right? Um, but, tell that to your nervous system. So yeah, anyway, I've been obviously done the shadow, done a lot of shadow work, nervous system work. So, um, gone through a lot of stuff to make my system feel safe enough to take some of these leaps of faith, which I've always been taking anyway, whether I admitted it or not, whether I was in denial or not about how much control I had or how much predictive power I had. Um, yeah, and like as far as there being fear, fear of death, for example, I hadn't been afraid of death since I had my mystical experience, um, just because falling into the ocean was so far beyond anything a human can experience or even conceptualize that it's kind of like, oh, if that's what's going to happen, then I got nothing to lose, you know? This is all just kind of a bonus round of like messing around on this planet until it's over. And then it's going to be amazing. Of course, I don't really know that, and I don't want to die. Uh, but I'm not that bothered about like people who are like, oh, I need to live forever and like upload my consciousness into AI and like, live for like 100 or like 1,000 more years. It's like that doesn't appeal to me very much, to be honest. Like when it's time to go, I feel like I'm gonna be ready to go. Hopefully not for a while, because there's still a lot. I mean, even if this existence is like a bacteria in an ant's gut, it's like I like my little world. I like my organic green and pink and blue and yellow kind of beautiful world. The butterflies and the hummingbirds and everything. And some great people. You find great people sometimes. And that's really nice. It's nice that the universe made all this stuff. Um, but another funny thing about like being afraid of death. Oh, there's my hawk again. I wonder if you can see it. Can you see him? Yeah. What you doing, buddy? Wish I could zoom in. It's probably not very well. There it went. Um, but yeah, if you plan it, they will come. First this and then that, and then pretty soon there's hawks. Um, this natural world is going to press on whatever we do about ourselves. That's kind of comforting. But anyway, yeah, another reason not to be afraid of death or not to be worried about death is because death is not here right now. So it's kind of funny to worry about something. Um, like imagine you have $2, right? And all of a sudden, oh, what did you find? A hawk again. I think he caught something. Oh goodness. Oh no, I hope it wasn't a hummingbird. Hmm. Sometimes it is. Sometimes that's how it goes. Or is that a butterfly? I can't tell what that is. Well, anyway, that's how nature goes. It just kind of flips everything out there, and you never know what's going to happen. And that includes us. But for me, right now, personally, um, death is not right here. So worrying about death is a bit like worrying, is a bit like, what are you hunting there, buddy? But yeah, it's a bit like having $2 in your bank account and being like, if I had $7 million, how would I manage that? How would I invest it? It's like that's not your problem right now, buddy. That's not your issue right now. Um, you're really going at it, whatever that is. I don't think it's a hummingbird, so because he keeps diving down to the other yard, and I don't think hummingbirds tend to hang out on the ground. Anyhow, um, yeah, just talking about how fresh everything is. If you're not trying to make this be anything else, Lord knows I still do it with my kids sometimes. Like my kid, like steps in cat puke and tracks all over the house. You better believe I'm like, oh, I really wish that hadn't happened. But it's seen as being sillier and sillier to like spend any time or energy kind of in denial about what's actually going on. And Sometimes things are hectic, sometimes things are restful, sometimes things are painful, sometimes things are comfortable. Sometimes a hawk is sitting on your fence, dining on random creatures, and that's just how it goes. What can you say about it? Stuff's happening, feelings are happening. And I've been trying to do a kind of an exercise where I I feel into whatever sensory perceptions are, active, and try to remember that what I think is happening in front of my face is not actually what's happening, just scientifically speaking, because I mean, even in a totally materialistic paradigm, you have neural impulses. What are you doing to my zinnias, dude? What'd you get? Oh, hunting something in there. Guess you get enough creatures in your yard, then the predators start coming. What you gonna do? Anyway, what my little buddy, my little meow, my little Zen cat, meditating. Um, but yeah, the pristine nature of all of this. Sometimes this, sometimes that. Sometimes you're on top, sometimes you're on bottom. Sometimes you're crushed by boulders when you're out for a swim on a hike. And from the perspective of an individual, that seems very arbitrary and even cruel. But from the perspective of no perspective, it's just things happening. And I'm certainly not perfectly in no perspective all the time. I care about people close to me and so on. And I hope for the best for them in this life because most of them don't have a chance to grasp in this life that they have a perspective. They have this life is all most people know. And it's nice that some of us somehow have causes and conditions that allow us to be like a kid playing in this world. Whether or not things look perfect from the outside or conventional or this or that, whatever. Yep. Take good care.